I bought my first vintage car when I was maybe 22, and I was just working in a strip club. I wasn't high rolling in the dough or anything. I like things that were really driven on the road and also cars that I can afford to buy. I'm not going to be buying any $3 million car anytime soon.
Dita, what car is this?
This is my 1939 Packard 128. The 1930s were the most elegant year for cars, and this one came up at an auction, and I bought it just based on a photo that I saw.
Tell us some of the interesting things about this particular car.
Well, a Packard was really like one of the top of the line cars at that time, and I have to say, for me, I've driven lots of 30s and 40s cars before, but when I actually got behind the wheel of the Packard, I started to understand that it was much easier to drive. It's just a lot smoother, a faster ride, and this kind of car is notoriously the kind of car that gangsters drove. They were fast, they were slick, they were cool. The interior is really beautiful. The color is actually the original color, which is called Packard French Blue. And one of the things I love about this car is the hood ornament was a big selling point for me with the beautiful glass, and it's just a classic. Vintage cars aren't like a new car where when you suddenly walk off the lot and it's worth like half of what you paid for it. I've made money in all my vintage car buying adventures. I've kept them, bought them for a certain amount, driven them for a few months or driven them for 15 years, and I've never lost any money on reselling my cars.
Okay, so Dita, what is this?
This is my 46 Ford Super Deluxe, it's called. It's the first time I've ever owned a convertible, and I really love driving the convertible because the sight lines are great. It's, we're in Hollywood. It's like the perfect place to drive a car like this. It feels very glamorous. I love the mid-40s, like for fashion, for hair, for makeup. It's one of my favorite eras. I think people get excited to see something they haven't seen before. I like to drive my cars to the grocery store and my Pilates class and my ballet classes. That's usually where I drive to. It just feels really glamorous, this car, like the kind of bounce that you get when you're driving along in it. And I had a guy pick me up on a date, and I think I went out with him 3 times, and every time it was like a different fancy car, like a Maserati, a Rolls, or whatever. And those kind of cars do nothing for me. It's not about having an expensive car. It's really an aesthetic.